today I want to discuss a certain book with all of you, and that is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yu. First I'm just gonna explain it spoiler free, and then you should leave if you haven't read it yet. I definitely recommend it, and I also recommend going into it knowing basically nothing at all. That's probably the best way to go about it. I didn't really know anything when I went into it, and I definitely loved it. Like, this is a very addicting book. I was actually reading this one, but I stopped because I don't know why. I started reading this instead, and I finished it in like 2 days because it's so addicting. And it's not very long either, so you fly through it, basically. It is a very happy book. Like, it's very light. I mean, there is a little sad moments, but not, it's a happy book. Don't be scared if you don't like books that are just sad through the whole thing. This is not it. This is very fun and happy and light. You know, you'll love it, basically. It's a contemporary. So like I said, I encourage not knowing anything going into it, but if you just want to have like an idea of it, what it's about, you can stay and I will tell you. Look at how beautiful it is. I mean, honestly, like, just feeling it, like... This isn't even the best part of it. Watch this. Look at it! Oh, and you can feel it, and oh, it's the same one. And here you can see the beautiful. Oh, I love this. This looks so beautiful up in my shelf, right. Just to put it right there. Yeah, that's what. Well, so it's basically about two people that we follow through one day, and it's a love story, of course. And it basically takes place in 24 hours. It's about how these two people go through the day with each other or alone. You'll see when you read it. So now, people who don't want any spoilers, goodbye! Now let's get into spoilers. Okay, so let's get into it. I really love Daniel and Natasha, and their relationship is so cute. Like, you know how Daniel is like a hopeless romantic, and Natasha is very skeptic about love in general. She believes in science. It's kind of hard just thinking that it all takes place just in one day, because it feels like they have like known each other for years, like they say. I mean, I cannot tell you my favorite scene because there's just so much to pick from, and like a running theme through the book is like fate, and how, you know, if Daniel hadn't heard the God-speaking dude on the train, he wouldn't have noticed what it said on Natasha's jacket, and he wouldn't have followed her into the store, and they wouldn't have seen her ex, and they wouldn't have talked, and blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it can be a beautiful thing. And it's also funny how Daniel tries to prove to Natasha that love exists through this test, and she's like, she doesn't believe in it at all. Like, she thinks it's basically bullshit. And through the end of the book, they are in love, and it's so cute. I also think it's really like interesting following Natasha's story, because obviously I'm white. You know, you're seeing her story about how they have been in America illegally, and how they now are going to be deported. And even though she doesn't believe in hope, she goes out the last day they are getting deported to try to fix it so that they can stay. And that is an act of hope, even though it doesn't end that well anyways. Let's talk about the different families of theirs. I think it's interesting to like see how, you know, Daniel's parents are Korean immigrants, and they think it's really important that their sons know that they are Korean, and they need to know about the Korean culture, and they want them to have Korean girlfriends and, you know, stuff like that. But and it's not really what neither of them care about, you know. They're born in America, they are basically adapted to the life there, and their parents doesn't approve. And it's nice to see that Daniel pursue his dream in the end, like he doesn't go to Yale. I just assume that's a very fancy, rich school, because Charlotte went to Harvard and Daniel was the second best always and stuff like that. He follows his dream, I guess. I mean, he doesn't really know what he works with in the end when they meet on the plane and stuff, but I assume he didn't become a doctor. Yeah, that's right. No, Charlie, I hate him kind of. I mean, I guess he has some good qualities, but I can't name any. I mean, Daniel like him because they are family after all, and he's just mad that he's like their parents because he doesn't want to be Korean or something. Yeah, he's a douchebag though. I hate him. Like when Daniel was that was satisfying, I tell you. And you know, I think it was really sad how Daniel told Natasha that he thought his parents probably wouldn't come to their wedding. It's so sad, really. Like, we get the story of that woman who worked at the restaurant they were on. Like, she didn't go to her son's wedding, and she doesn't even know like their grandchildren because they chose to ignore him because they thought he was stupid. And that's so sad, I think. By the way, I love all these little like stories we get from the people around them, like the guy on the train and the lawyer that Natasha and Daniel speaks to, you know, their love story with his secretary, and Irene, that woman who wanted to take suicide. It's really touching, like everything you do in your everyday life like can change things in someone else's life. It all connects in the end. Like it's I think it was very nice, like going through it like that. And I thought it was also really sad to hear about, like, we get very much of an insight into Natasha's dad's life, how he always wanted to be an actor and how he chose to make a family with her mom instead of pursuing his dream. And you know, I think it was very, like, he kind of blamed them from not being successful. Like, he could have gone to more auditions and stuff, and he didn't, and the mom was like working so much just so they could make a living. And when he finally got a role, the first question she asked was, well, how much do you get paid? I mean, I can understand her about that. And the Nora bang was so funny. Like, Daniel was like, take a chance on me, take a chance on me. Yeah. Then Natasha was completely awful, but she still sang. You know, she went for it, and then they had some cozy times right there in the Nora bang. I also liked the rooftop scene, and they like meet the guard there. That was very nice. You know, they talk about how dark matter might be love, like Daniel's a poet and he writes in his little notebook, and Natasha tries to prove him wrong with science. The conversations between the two, I love it. Just like banter back and forth. And I hope I haven't forgot about talking about anything important. That would be a shame. And I also did like how the chapters were like really short sometimes. Sometimes it just looked like this, like Natasha, Daniel, just the chapter with one word, like, that's some quality right there. No, but I liked it. And you know, I haven't read Nicola Yoon's other book yet, Everything, but I will eventually. It was just a beautiful piece of art, and Now, we also have to talk about the ending. It was just so perfect because I thought everything would work out. And the reason that Natasha was deported was because the lawyer was with his assistant instead of going to that meeting. Otherwise, Natasha could have stayed. That's annoying. It kind of worked out in the end anyways, when Natasha was going to the airport. No! No, no, no! Oh, this is not supposed to happen. But it did. And I was really sad for so long. But then, in the end, when they were on the airplane together and they didn't know, we were following the perspective of Irene, that woman who were going to take suicide, and she pursued her dream instead of being a flight attendant. And she was walking there and she saw this Asian dude with his notebook writing. She saw this African girl sitting there with pink in the tops of her afro, and we all know who it is. And Irene realized that it's the girl that saved her life when she called and said thank you to Irene for some reason, and that saved her life. And so she went up and talked to her, and she remember her. And then Daniel hears that they were talking, and he's like, Natasha? Daniel? Oh. I'm gonna be honest with you, I cried. It was so happy, and it was all awkward too because I was on the train on my way to school while reading this, and I was an emotional mess, and I didn't want to cry, but I couldn't help myself. And it was so happy. I loved it. If you loved it too, leave a like, I don't know, and I'll see you some other time, I hope.